Hi everyone, it's Victoria Rosa from openandawesome.com and welcome to this Poly and Open Q&A video. Today's question is a mashup of different questions that people have sent in and asked me, and overall it runs so: how do I tell people I am interested in the kind of relationship that I want? So how do I tell them I want an open relationship? How do I tell them that I'm poly? And, first of all, if you are asking yourself this, as I said, lots of people are asking it too. It is huge. It comes up all the time. I see lots of people saying, it's difficult enough for me to find one person that I like. That's challenging enough. But having to find somebody who is actually already open or poly is even more difficult. So I see that there's just like lots of anxiety around this topic, because obviously when you like someone, you really want them to like you back. You really do. And I understand that. But what I see is lots of people do is because this anxiety just leads them to just put off telling them that that's what they want. And then by the time they tell them, they're already emotionally invested in the relationship. And so the other person feels betrayed, feels lied to, and it just undermines the whole understanding and a willingness that needs to be there in order to navigate this when it happens. And I've seen lots of even my close friends go from one monogamous person to another, going through this cycle that just tends to end up in heartbreak. And I really don't want that to happen to you. And it really doesn't need to be that way. I'm really not going to tell you also don't date monogamous folk, because to be honest, most of us have been monogamous at some stage. When I met one of my partners, they just hadn't given much thought to whether they could actually choose their relationship style. And once we spoke about it, they went like, "Oh, this makes a lot of sense. I think I'll have what you're having." So, it can work, and I'm not the only one, for sure. Um, so, the key here is communication, communication, communication. Yet again, what a surprise. Um, so, what is the correct way of communicating? Now, I have to tell you there's no one correct way, but I do want to give you a couple of tips. Okay, so tip number one: tell them sooner rather than later. Now, I've already explained why putting it off can be detrimental to you and to the relationship. So, when are you most likely to be successful telling somebody that you're open or that you're poly? Well, in my experience, this is as soon as possible. So, if when you're actually meeting them and you get that spark that says, I think I want to meet this person again, or I want to date them, tell them then, you know. Um, And you'll find that there are actually quite a number of people who will either not be put off by that, or who will say, I find this intriguing, I want to know more. It doesn't necessarily have to be a, yes, I'm completely on board with this, or no, hell no. It can be something in between. And there's a lot of people who, sit within that space. And they might find you, interesting enough to pursue, even if they don't know about the relationship style that they want yet. Okay? Now, there may be situations where it's just not appropriate in that context, or you might not feel safe explaining about your relationships or your relationship style. So, just tell them in the first day or in the second day, but I would really recommend you not taking any longer than that. By being open in these early stages, you're setting a tone for the whole relationship. You're saying, I want to be open and I want to share with you how I am and who I am. And people love that. Okay. Um, Second, how you tell them is as important as the content of what you're saying. Actually, scratch that. How you tell them accounts for about 60% of the communication. So there's different studies that vary the percentages, but that's how important non-verbal communication is. Okay, so if it contradicts your verbal communication, people are going to listen to your body language first. Okay, so if you go in just going like, oh my God, I need to tell you this thing that is just so big and scary and terrible, that's what they're going to be hearing. Even if you're saying, I just wanted to tell you that, I'm Polly, they're going to be scared because you're scared. Okay. Whereas if you tell them matter of factly, they just go like, okay, so they're sharing information. How do I feel about this? So they'll be looking to see how they feel. And by default, they'll take it as normal because you're seeing it as normal. Okay? That gives you a bit more chance of success. And then thirdly, you need to just release any expectations. Okay? Do not be attached to the outcome. And why do I say this? Because I think we often forget that people are free. We're faced with another person who is completely free to stay, go, and do whatever they want. Okay? If we don't respect that, we are going to get into manipulative behaviors. So it's not your place to decide whether this person stays with you and has a relationship with you or not. Okay? They're free to do that. You need to provide them the information so that they can make an informed choice, but ultimately it's their choice. So just respect that and detach yourself from the outcome. And I think you know that ultimately you want to be with people who want to be with you and who share your values and vision of relationships. So if they're going to go away, it's best that they go away early when there's not a lot of heartbreak for either of you, than that they stick around and you both suffer. Okay? So by releasing this attachment, you're letting things happen the way they are meant to happen. So if you're not meant to be together because you don't share enough, it's best to know really early on, so you can go on and find somebody that you do share things with, and you're not investing all this time and this emotional energy into somebody, into a relationship that's ultimately not going to work. Okay? And then if it works, then that's fabulous. But it's, you have your part, but your part is not everything. Okay? You cannot make people stick around. Right, so there is a lot more to this topic, but this is just a very short video, so I want to leave it at that. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do share it with your friends on Facebook, on Twitter, on Pinterest, on Tumblr, wherever you want, okay? Because friends love friends who do stuff like that. And are you in the southeast of England? Because me and Ludi, a poly organizer, we are putting together poly speed dating in London for everyone in the southeast of England. So if you're interested, just sign up below, in the form below, for email updates, and that way you'll be the first to know when the tickets come out and you'll have first pick, because these events tend to sell out quite quickly. So we want to make sure that you're there first, and of course you will know the dates and the rest of the stuff. So I look forward to seeing you there if you're around, and otherwise I will see you in my next video. Bye!